Hi, my name is Leslie Williams. Today's date is March 16, 2012. And when you hear traffic go by, I'm going to stop talking. Because it's hard to understand what I'm saying when traffic goes by. I'm a target of organized stalking, which is also called gang stalking, here in San Diego, California. I have been now for 3 separate calendar years. I was a target of organized stalking, which is also called gang stalking, in 2006 when I was out here for between 34 and 39 days. At that time when I was out here, I did not know what gang stalking was. I did not know what was happening towards me was gang stalking. But I did make contacts with Amnesty International, a prosecutor in Wayne, Michigan. And I also, these contacts I made were through the mail and through email accounts and files. And I was describing what was happening towards me. Now, I come back out here and then I left. I was out here between 34 and 39 days, and I left. Now, these saved emails that I have, and they're also printed out, clearly show that what was happening, what I was describing that was happening towards me were organized stalking, gang stalking tactics. Then I don't come out here again until August 8, 2011. And I wasn't only gang stalked on the bus out here, the Greyhound bus out here. I was gang stalked and organized, and I was a target of organized stalking from the very second I got off the Greyhound bus. A blog was made in Connecticut on August 1st, 2011 about where I was going, preparing to go to California. And that what I was doing was, I came out here actually out to California because one of the main tactics of organized stalking is to create homelessness of a target. Google that and look at how many Google-generated responses you'll get in reference to the description of that term. Gang stalking create homelessness, or organized stalking create homelessness of targets. Organized stalkers or gangs. When I say organized stalkers, just you can look it up by typing in either organized stalking or gang stalking. That way I don't have to keep repeating it. And what they'll do is they'll either rent apartments that are adjacent to a target. They set up electronic harassment equipment in these adjacent apartments, either in the upper or lower floors, or in apartments that are across the hall or next to a target. And that's done to set up the equipment needed for the electronic harassment and for the directed energy weapons, believe it or not. Now, all you have to do is Google and YouTube these descriptions. And what they do is they deliberately create homelessness of a target by driving a target out of their apartment or causing evictions, either through mail theft or mail delayment, like when you mail your rent, or by getting the landlord on board. Google everything that I am describing in reference to the description of the tactics they use to organize stalking and or gang stalking, and look at how many Google-generated responses you'll get in reference to those descriptions. And the whole goal is to make destitution of a target so you can exploit the destitution by calling the target unable to take care of themselves because they have money but they won't rent an apartment. And these are the tactics that they use because the whole goal is for exploitation. Anywhere between taking over target Social Security checks to exploiting their Medicare to sexual exploitation. They set up a bunch of group homes for people who are on disability. They go to HUD. What they do is they go to HUD and they buy these really cheap homes. It's organized crime within the system. And then they set up these homes for people who are supposedly mentally ill or have some type of disability. And then they go after the disabled. Yeah, because they want to take over their monthly Social Security checks to exploit the Medicare once they get a hold of them, and to sexually exploit them in these homes. They just treat people like straw people. And what they do is they subject them to organized stalking along their route on a 24/7 basis. They'll stage vehicle accidents so you don't even have a car to sleep in, and then they put you out on the street. And while you're out on the street, they subject you to non-stop organized stalking, which includes non-stop harassment. They also subject the target to assaults and even rapes. Yeah, this is all done to break down the target. Why? Because this is where they exploit the Medicare when a target breaks down in the hospital, and also for documentation purposes that is later used with accumulated falsified police reports, doctor's reports, county mental health reports, and all this documentation is being deliberately falsified in order to use it as the conduit to bring before a syndicated probate attorney to then box the target in one of these group homes. And in these group homes is where the Social Security check is taken over legally by a syndicated probate attorney. That's where they also keep engaging in organized stalking activities in these group homes. And this is where they stage incidences, accusations, and assaults in order to make it appear that they have a legal reason to petition the target into the hospital. And this is done for the Medicare billing. Non-stop thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that are billed to Medicare every time they petition a target in a hospital, using the excuse that they're causing problems in the group home, when it's actually the people who run the group home are staging these incidences in order to make it look like they have a legal apparent reason to petition the target into the hospital so the Medicare can be billed out of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars each and every time. And all the money that is billed gets kicked back to the participants who participated in it. The owner of the group home, the syndicated EMS, fire department EMS, the police officers when they're used for the falsified police reports, and it's nothing but Medicare trafficking, okay, Medicare fraud. They also have legal custody of the target's Social Security check, and then they try to exploit the target sexually. This includes even sexual rapes. When the target is sleeping, they will literally enter a target's room and put ether over their mouth, and then have men come in and have sex with the target while the target is sleeping and knocked out. And this is all done for payoffs for some of the syndicated members that are doing work for the syndicate. Because a lot of the way that they pay off people to do what they do for them is by bartering. They'll tell an individual if he attacks and assaults a separate target, then he can get a payoff by having sex with a really good-looking woman that's in this group home that we know about. They wait till the woman goes to sleep, they come in and they put ether on their face, they're totally knocked out, just like a roofer, like the roofer does, the date rape does. And then they have the individuals come in and have sex with them. And if you don't believe that human trafficking is not operated this way, you better take a real good thorough look at how human traffickers operate. They'll get targets sucked into a specific place, they'll dupe them to go into a specific place, and then what they'll do is get them in a room and deliberately inject them either with heroin or whatever to totally knock them out physically, and then have a bunch of people come in and have sex with them. Look at the movie Trade, look at the movie Taken, and you'll see how they operate, and thoroughly investigate how human traffickers operate by Googling it and YouTubing it. My name is Leslie Williams. The San Diego police are directly involved in this crime. The emails that I have saved that go all the way back to 2006 clearly state what I was putting up with, even putting up with by Point Loma Library staff, which is a city worker, and Point Loma Library security staff, which is another city worker. So do you really, and the San Diego police were directly involved in the physical, literal eviction of the Everett campsite 4 days after I started sending these emails on a feverish scale that was describing what I was putting up with and where I was putting up with it at Point Loma Library, which is a city-owned building, city employees. So do you really honestly think that the San Diego police, and they were circling me as well in 2006, so were they're also syndicated to privately owned EMS companies, because it's all about kickbacks. And the whole goal for them is to break a target down to make money off the Medicare exploitation, to also, and when the target does break down again, like I said, that's when they start accumulating the false mental diagnoses. They're directly syndicated to social services, Social Security workers, Medicare workers, county mental health workers, police officers, firefighters, judges, syndicated probate attorneys. It's organized crime within the system, and they don't give two shits about who they hurt and how they hurt it. A good way to understand how they operate is to Google 3 separate things. Well, 4 actually. Google organized stalking. Google Medicare fraud to see how Medicare fraud operates. Okay. Then Google 4 mentally disabled individuals kept in a basement in Philadelphia for 11 years. That individual who had custody of them had the identification of 50 other people that were on disability. Do the math. Now, there's a manifesto that you can find online by going to Google, typing in a gang stalking tech, everything you need to know. And that's basically what it was. What it is it's a manifesto of a person who organizes the street harassment that a target puts up with along the route, because the harassment that a target puts up with along the route, which includes assaults and even rapes, is managed. by an individual who has the power position in the community to contact different types of people, members in the community, and groups in the community. And a lot of that cooperation that they get is based on lies. The rest of it is done by the syndicate, who use their employment descriptions in order to be able to get people to harass a target. And a lot of that's done through intimidation, solicitation, bribery, intimidation, bartering, because they got to have the harassment to be cost effective. Go to YouTube and type in "listen to a stranger," and you'll see how they operate, how they can get people in the community to do something for a person who's carrying a fake badge. And this is how they operate. Go to Google, go to www.gangstuckerworld.com and look under their techniques page, and you'll see how they operate. Now, also go to Google and type in "a Pennsylvania judge sentenced to 28 years for taking kickbacks." See, because what they do is they set up, like how I said, they set up these group homes. Well, there's in that situation, it came down to where this privately owned detention center, this judge was sentencing first-time misdemeanor children who committed first-time misdemeanor acts to the full sentence, which meant that they were sentenced and pipelined to a detention center that was privately owned. That detention center would then, in turn, apply for federal funds per child, and then kick back some of those federal funds to the judge, and he got caught and got 28 years. And this is literally what they do. This is what you need to understand in order to see how they operate. Now, the manifesto that I was talking about clearly shows they're syndicated to judges, lawyers, doctors, psychiatrists. It's organized crime, again, within the system. My life is being torn down like you would not believe. They create homelessness of a target to create destitution of a target, to then exploit the destitution by claiming a target cannot take care of themselves, because they get an apartment or are offered all these public services to get an apartment, and through the stalking, they know a target is getting another apartment, and they just do nothing but bribe and intimidate and coerce the landlord to get on board, and another continued campaign to make the target go through the same hellacious hell that are perpetrated towards them at an apartment building, to either cause them to want to leave, or then they'll stage reasons for eviction, including stealing mail that is the rent that is mailed, like I did, certified mail return receipt. There's another target in San Diego. Her name is called Sylvia L. Morelos. Go to YouTube and type in "gang stalking in San Diego." You'll find her YouTube videos. She talks about how they're stealing their credit card payments that are mailed certified mail return receipt. I mailed my rent that was mailed certified mail return receipt. The only way you can steal something that is mailed certified mail return receipt is to literally steal it right out of the mail, not a mailbox or a P.O. box. Okay? Because of the type of mail service it is. And Google gang stalking and postal employees, gang stalking and mail theft and mail delayment. That's how they create the destitution, to exploit the destitution for the accumulated documentation that they eventually bring before a syndicated judge in order to make it look like they have a legal apparent reason to contain the target in one of these group homes. This is what I'm going through on a day-to-day basis, all because of organized crime within the system. The San Diego police are directly, physically, literally, with complete malice of forethought, directly involved in these criminal expeditions, and so is the San Diego District Attorney's Office, Prosecutor's Office, and I'm sure they have syndicated judges on the rope as well, county mental health, social services, and social security workers. Google everything I just described to you in reference to the employment description to organized stalking or gang stalking.